And welcome to the Howard Eskin Show. As we're now kind of officially, unofficially started the football season, and there'll be obviously a lot of discussion tonight with the beginning of camp as we do this show for the Eagles with a special guest. But let me tell you how important our presenting sponsor is, and that would be Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell is the guy. He's the guy. He understands. He knows. He can a terrific knowledge and education on things to do with your wealth. Jeff Stillwell, regular guy, and you will be impressed as I was with Jeff. So if you want, give him a call and check it all out. And you should. You're doing yourself a service. 732-343-0813. That's 732-343-0813. All right, let me tell you what we have on the show. A special guest, but we'll talk about that in a second. We're going to talk a lot of football, hear what some of the players and the head coach had to say today as we do this show with the opening of training camp. We'll do that. I will. I got a few things to interject about some of the things that are going on in football, but we'll do that. And we want to make sure that you know that we got a great giveaway today, and we're going to do that. But before we get to explaining that, and before we get to our guest, let me tell you how important our other sponsors are. Our presenting sponsor is extremely important, but everybody's important that's a part of this show. Cut the cord with Jason, Piazza Property Pros, Audi Westchester. I stopped over Audi Westchester within the last few days, and I saw a whole bunch of cars coming in. They have a great selection of vehicles, but right now, not but always right now, and it's fun shopping for a car. You can lease a new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro for only $439 a month, or you can lease a new 2025 Audi A5 Sportback for only $529 a month. All you need, $2,500 down plus taxes and registration fees to lease a new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro or Audi A5 Sportback, 36 months, 7,500 miles per year. I'm telling you, you're going to have fun there. Great people, fun to start looking at cars, see the large selection that they now have. I see cars coming in all the time. You grab a cup of coffee, have some snacks, have some fun as you're looking for a vehicle. Audi Westchester, located 1421 Wilmington Pike. The special offer is there. 2025 Audi A3 Quattro, $439 a month, or a new 2025 Audi A5 Sportback for only $529 a month. Check it out, AudiWestchester.com. And you want to take care of your property. You want to make it look nice. I just recently, within the last couple of days, had some landscaping done on my property. Already have the pool, but if you want a pool, you can talk to Piazza Property Pros about a pool, but you waited too long because you've used up a good part of the summer by the time the pool will get in. But that doesn't mean you can't get a head start. And you want to take care of your ground, whether it's landscaping, fencing, hardscaping, whatever it is, excavation, pool maintenance. 25 years of experience will tell you most of what you need to know. They don't subcontract. That's something else. Turn your vision into a reality. Great customer service. Work is done by their own skilled team. That's right. They don't subcontract. So give them a call. Check it out. Piazza Property Pros. They'll work within your budget. Schedule a free consultation. 610-566-2608. That's 610-566-2608. Or check them out on the internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. You want to save money on your cable? Got the guy that can do it, because you are tired of paying for cable. Cut the cord with Jason. Incredible service. It'll save you money on monthly TV and internet bills. Here's what people that have hired Jason had to say. I saw Cut the Cord with Jason on Howard Show. After years of getting rid wanting and waiting and just dying to get rid of cable. I finally did it. Jason came to my house, explained everything, set up the home screen to what we needed, and even hooked up my sound bar in the basement. Jason was awesome. That is Mike L from the Northeast. People love to cut the cord with Jason. For more information and to save yourself a lot of money, do yourself a favor. Call and save money. Call Jason 215 801 5858. That's 215 801 58. All right. Few things we're going to do today, other than what I've told you. We're going to give away a bobblehead. Now, I had a question from the last show. The question was, who did I not think Fox put together an all-time Phillies list, position by position? Who did I not think should be included in that list? And I will give you a question with what our guest has to say after we're done with our conversation with our guest. So if you want to win a bobblehead, you can win a bobblehead. I'll ask the question after the interview. Email your answer through the contact page at howardeskin.com by midnight, July 25th. Watch the show this coming Saturday, July 26th at 8 a.m. To see if you've won. It'll be live on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And YouTube, you can subscribe. And when you subscribe, it notifies you when I am doing a podcast. So that'd be a good idea to subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. And the winner will be randomly chosen from all the correct entries. And our guest, we'll talk some football. We'll talk some football because he knows football, because he played with the Eagles for 8 years. He is a terrific guy, really knows his stuff. But as I said, after we're done with the conversation, we'll talk to some people with the first day of camp. The first day of camp is always fascinating. And everybody thinks every team that has camp, every team that has camp thinks they can win. Every team that has camp. So the Eagles are one of them. But they had some interesting comments about how to look at camp, what to do with camp, how to treat coming off the Super Bowl last year. We'll do all those things. Right now, uh, uh, right now, let me remind you again: you can win the bobblehead. You can win the bobblehead by answering the question after we have this conversation with our guest. And you'll watch the show on Saturday. I'll have a question after we're done. And the winner will be randomly chosen from all correct entries. All right. Joining me now on the program, another special guest. They're all special on this program. Played with the Eagles for 8 years, played under Andy Reid, played under with Donovan McNabb. And that would be Jason Avant, former Eagles wide receiver. We'll get into the Eagles, who opened camp as we speak today. But let me get into Andy Reid, because most people in this town really didn't appreciate him. Jason, you played under Andy Reid. How good a head coach was Andy Reid?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me. But I think that Coach Reid was and is the best coach in NFL history. I just think that he uses his parts better than any coach out there. And the thing that I enjoyed about him is that he always took the responsibility of having a team prepared to play, no excuses. And being in the NFL for as long as I was in the NFL, seeing different coaches, even coaches under him or in other organizations, when there is a problem, the coaches leave a little gray area so they can blame the coach. They can tell you to do a play.
Mhm.
run this particular way and it don't work, they blame you. Oh, you should have did it this way. You should have adjusted this type of thing. Coach Reed was a guy that eliminated all gray area. It was black, it was white. If it didn't work, he took the responsibility and caused guys to play fast. And he also had the ability to understand which guys can play outside the lines. That's what coaching is about, right? You see him with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Those two guys played backyard football at the time, as so it seems. But he's recognized those two guys have mastered my offense. Trust that they know what I like accomplished. And when they go outside the lines, I'm not going to be upset because I trust them. And he gives the players that he trusts most that ability.
You know what? I think he identified Donovan McNabb. I remember that draft, and he identified him as the quarterback coming out of that draft. I think he made Donovan better, and I think Donovan right now, and the Eagles have had some really good quarterbacks, and people look at Jalen Hurts, and he won a Super Bowl. I think Donovan right now is at the top of the list. He may not be in a few years, but how good a quarterback was Donovan, and how good did Andy Reid make him by the way he coached, especially quarterbacks?
Yeah, I thought that Dom was always ready to play the game, and yes, he's a super talented dude and the best quarterback I've played with by far. When Donovan was hot and on target, the Eagles didn't have close games. That's how good Donovan was. Uh, and and so I thought that he enhanced his ability. Coach Reed enhanced his ability when it came to getting him outside of the
Mhm.
pocket, when it came to getting him to operate the offense, no matter who was around him. Remember, the Eagles had success with guys that weren't deemed the most reliable receiving targets. And a part of that was Donovan and Coach Reed's relationship. Coach Reed knew how to spread the ball around and keep guys involved, knew that, okay, I can't focus on this guy. Westbrook has this matchup. And he calls Donovan to see parts of the game that he didn't have to when he was at Syracuse. So I think Don owes a lot of his career to Coach Reed, but both of them achieved a lot together. Remember, Donovan may get overlooked now because Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts have won a Super Bowl,
Right.
but he's just as important because his tenure with the Eagles is one of the most successful in history. And also that was the foundation that kind of brought on the Jalen Hurts and brought on a winning legacy and made the fans hungry for a winner again, right? Them going to those NFC championships and failing created a fan that wouldn't accept anything else, right? So all of us was have benefited from Donovan McNabb and Coach Reed.
All right. So now let's deal with this Eagles team. The Eagles made a point in the first day of camp. They're not defending champions. They're not trying to repeat. They're not thinking about anything about last year. Last year's last year. But for a player to come back after a successful year, and I know you didn't win a Super Bowl while you were playing with the Eagles and didn't win it,
Mhm.
I believe, in your career. But how difficult after a good season is it to come back and say, well, we got to be better than last season? How tough is that for a player?
It's extremely tough. Like it's tough after wins to come out with the next game and have the same fervor. It's tough to do that, right? Especially in a place like Philadelphia because we overreact a lot of times when it comes to fans. And I'm a fan. I overreact. We win 3-4 and we're going Super Bowl. That's just the way we are.
Right.
So winning the Super Bowl last year, the fans are praising these guys when they go to Target, when they're at Walmart, when they're out to eat, when they're doing anything out in the community. Everyone is remembering last year. And yes, there's a year that's ahead of you, but it'll give you that ability to just kind of rest and relax. And a lot of people have Super Bowl hangovers. It happens a lot where teams don't come out and, put their best foot forward after a Super Bowl because everyone is so satisfied. But this team has been to the mountaintop before. The ownership has, the organization has, and Jalen Hurts understands what it's like to lose a Super Bowl, what it's like to win a Super Bowl. And so if there's anybody that can lead us forward and be able to overcome the stress of having success would be Jalen Hurts. So I have no doubt that we'll be able to write any wrong that comes with winning a championship. But it's extremely hard to have focus, especially in a town like Philadelphia.
You know what? Jalen's not a young player anymore. He's young, but not a young player anymore. But there are players on that team that are young players. A couple of rookies from last year, the two defensive backs. I think Cooper
Mm-hmm.
DeJean's probably going to play safety most of the time. But whatever. How difficult is it for a young player to get all that attention, all that excitement, all these people, as you say, walking in? It doesn't matter whether it's Target, wherever they walk into, they are stars. How difficult is it for a young player to kind of come back the next year and kind of put all that aside because now you have to do it on the football field?
Yeah, especially for a young guy like Coop, who's been all over the media
Yeah.
and in different places, and if his just being famous, his level of fame has risen a bunch after the Super Bowl game and the pick six, and so yes, it's going to be a lot harder for a younger player. But again, when you're young, you don't know what you don't know. So he may think in his mind, this is what we do every single year, right? So, and that taste of success could drive something inside of him to go out and prepare even harder. So I don't know how it will affect him, but I would say that it is hard. But again, these young dudes, besides one game each from them, have played like veterans the entire year. I say the Quinyon Mitchell game, maybe 2 games for Quinyon Mitchell in their 2 losses against the Falcons early when, Mooney was able to get the best of him in that game-winning drive, and then Terry McLaurin down in the Commanders Stadium where he, beat him for a touchdown. Besides that, Quinyon was great. And besides the Carolina Panthers game with Adam Thielen, schooling Coop,
Right.
those guys have played like veterans this whole time. So even though they're young, there's nothing to me that says that they're not veterans. So I believe our guys will be able to overcome it. But yeah, we're fighting an uphill battle when it comes to just notoriety and fame with these dudes, and how they handle it. We will see.
Remember, he came from Iowa,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there wasn't a lot of celebrity status in Iowa compared to Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know what, Howard? You know what's so funny? I'm a Big Ten guy, and I was able to see him, and I covered Michigan's games as a sideline reporter.
Right.
So I've seen him play in college, and you may not think that it's not like Philadelphia, but there's nothing in Iowa. There's no protein. Cooper DeJean was the best thing smoking in Iowa, so he is used to being the man. And that he had a whole state behind him. And now Philadelphia is much bigger in this because it's national. But I'm pretty sure he's used to being a man.
How well he's going to have to be coming off a Super Bowl. All right, so we know how good Saquon Barkley is, but without Saquon Barkley, do you agree that Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, but not as good a quarterback when you can just hand the ball off and that defense has to be aware of all that? How much better does he make Jalen?
I don't. I can't agree with that one, Howard. So let me tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. I think Jalen plays better as a quarterback when he has less.
Really?
He was able to go to the Super Bowl and have a stellar year when he had less of a running back. So what happens is that, yes, does Saquon help the team win? Of course. And is it better for championships? Yes. But is it always best for Jalen? No. Jalen has to sacrifice because a lot of times in order to have rhythm in the passing game, you got to be willing to throw it. But when you're completions and your attempts are down because the guy behind you is such a beast in Saquon, it kind of hurts your game at times too. So I believe what the Eagles have is good for team success, which is most important. But don't believe for 1 second that Jalen just is being helped by Saquon when it comes to just throwing the ball. When it comes to throwing the ball, it helps and it hurts.
All right, what makes Jalen Hurts a good quarterback, in your opinion?
Well, the ability to execute the offense, one, to keep the defense off balance because of his ability to run the ball, also to get predictable coverages, right? So because you have Saquon, because you have Jalen, you're only going to get a few defensive looks. And so you can prepare a game plan only expecting a few things because of what you have to do in order to stop the run game and also Jalen Hurts' ability. So you make the defense very predictable when it comes to pass coverage, which allows you to have one-on-ones on the outside. So all of those things are something that makes Jalen great. And when it comes to just accuracy, Jalen over the last 2 years has been one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the National Football League. I know people don't want to hear that, but Jalen Hurts is extremely accurate. Down the field throws a couple years ago, he was number one in the league. This past year, he took a little step back, but when it came to just putting the ball on target, he was completing almost 70% of his passes. So Jalen Hurts gets the ball there. The only time Jalen Hurts had problems is when he is confused on the back end. And that can happen sometimes. He's still a young quarterback, and defenses are doing things to them to come up with ways to stop them. They're not playing traditional defense. I go back to the Falcons game. The Falcons were doing unsound defensive plays in order to try to stop the Eagles last year, things that no one would ever consider as a coverage. They were able to do it because they were just trying stuff because they couldn't stop anything else. So I think Jalen Hurts has that problem of people trying to create new defenses. So sometimes it can cause him to have, to second guess what he's looking at. But if he knows what he's looking at, he's played you a few times, he's going to kill you and pick you apart back there because he's really accurate.
Okay, well, then we do know that the wide receivers, the Eagles, it arguably one of the top 3 wide receiving cores in the NFL. Whether they're the best or not, people can debate that. How good is A.J. Brown when you compare him to other wide receivers in the NFL?
There's a lot of good guys, and remember, there's multiple ways to skin a cat.
Yep.
There's guys that can skin a cat like Tyreek Hill that does it with just tremendous speed and quickness. Then you have guys that like Justin Jefferson, who's very, very shifty and, has a motor to go deep. You have guys like, Jamar Chase. There's a bunch of guys. I prefer A.J. Brown's style. The reason I prefer A.J. Brown's style is because it's more like T.O. style, where I can get past you, but also I can out physical you. And you don't need a bunch of plays set up for him. You can line him up and he can be a playmaker. What is a playmaker? A playmaker to me is when the defense has a better call than you, they have a better defense than you, but your guy is so much better, he can overcome even a negative situation. And I think A.J. Brown does that better than anybody in the league when it comes to 50-50 balls, having a big body in order to get in there, catch those slants, in cuts, stop routes, go balls, post, whatever it is. You don't have to devise a game plan for A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is a guy you can line up any spot, no smoke, no mirrors. He doesn't need to go in motion, and he can beat you. And he can beat you running basic routes. He don't have to go inside 100 yards and run back out. He's not tricking anybody. You know what he's going to run, but you can't stop it because if you get too close, he puts that big body on you, them strong hands on you. He moves you out of the way, and then he has suddenness and he has explosiveness to get past you as well. And he tracks the ball extremely well by playing baseball most of his life. So I think I prefer his style because of all the different ways he can beat you.
Okay, he said that he thinks he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. You rattled off a lot of good ones. He is one of the best, but I don't know that you can identify the best wide receiver in the NFL because today, athletically, physically, speed-wise, all kinds of things, there's so many good wide receivers. Would you agree?
Yeah, there's a lot of good wide receivers in the league, and I'll say this is that when you look at a lot of the guys that play, there's only a few without deficiencies. Like everyone, like A.J. Brown really doesn't. What can you say is his deficiencies? Maybe top end speed, and that's still 4.4, and he still has a big body.
Right.
He still gets down the field and catches deep balls. Like, so maybe his deficiency is, okay, he runs a 4.4 or 40. Okay, that's his deficiency, which is a great deficiency to have. You look at Justin Jefferson's, you say, well, he's a slender guy or he's a high volume target guy. Usually when you have high volume target guys, they never win Super Bowls. It just doesn't happen like that. Randy Moss, when he was with the Vikings or the other teams where he's going to get 100 passes a year, those guys usually don't win Super Bowls. It just doesn't happen like that, right? So like if you go through every guy, I think the two to me that kind of sticks out above the rest would be Jamar Chase and AJ Brown because of their body types and all the ways that they can beat you. Those would be my top if I were saying anyone. And then Justin Jefferson would be after that.
Okay, so you would say in no special order, AJ Brown, Jamar Chase are the two best, and followed right behind with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, and then Tyreek Hill is always going to be in that conversation because
Right.
of what he can do. But I would say those two guys because of their body types. They're big dudes, like when it comes to just their thickness and their ability to have speed and catch slants and beat you with shiftiness, beat you with speed. They can beat you in a bunch of different ways. The other guys are limited in ways that they can beat you.
You know what? When you played, there were so many rules where you could get the living daylights beat out of you, and now you can't touch a wide receiver. I'm not saying it's easy to play the position, but you played the
It's
position.
much easier.
Yeah, okay. You're going to
It's
say
much
it.
easier. It's much easier.
Yeah, it's just they would maul you before. I mean, they would maul you, and there's nothing you could do about it because they could beat you up, and now you can't touch a wide receiver. But yeah,
Well, that's why Tyreek Hill can play. That's
mhm,
why these little guys. That's why they can play. Like, and that's just the truth. Not saying that he wouldn't have been able to play, but that's why you see like the stardom of a lot of these slender guys that run 4.2 and 4.3 40s. Guys have always run fast. There's
right.
4.2 guys when we played, 4.3 guys when we played. It's just that they couldn't get on the field because they would get mauled at the line of scrimmage because the
I
rules
got
were
you.
so much different, right? So you open up the game to have like these smaller guys. They don't catch as well, so you see more drops in the NFL than you normally would see. But I would say a guy like AJ Brown will change. That doesn't matter where you go, where you take him, what era. He has a LeBron James style body. That body translates anywhere. Same way with Jamar Chase.
Mhm.
Tyreek Hill, because of his speed and his body and him being short and stocky and quick, that'll translate, but it won't be the same level of success that you would have if he was playing in, Deion Sanders' day, because those guys would just try their best to not let him get any room and space and hold him, and because you literally can hold him. So, yeah, it's easier to play receiver because you don't have to worry about Brian Dawkins over the middle. You don't have to worry about Palomalu. You don't have to worry about Sean Taylor. You don't have to worry about Rodney Harrison. Guys that made a living of putting fear in people, you don't have to worry about those guys now. You get a penalty.
All right. So you've watched Nick Sirianni as a head coach. I know you've got to speak to him. He gets, and you talk to the players, he gets those guys to believe. Everybody. You remember the times when people were killing him. They had no clue this guy was a good coach. I don't care what he talks about in the meetings. If he gets players to pay attention, that's all part of it. And he gets players to pay attention. How good a coach do you think Nick Sirianni is?
I love Coach Sirianni.
I do too.
Here's the thing. Like when you talk to him, if you get a chance to meet with him, and you talk football with him, like I have, like he remembers my career like the back of his hand because we talk about plays, and I had teammates that have played for him, and he loved my game, and he would always use me as different things, because I wasn't the fastest or the biggest, but knew how to get open, and I like talking to him because you can see the fervor and the excitement and the childlike passion that he has for the game of football, even though he's won multiple, or even though he's won a Super Bowl and has been to multiple Super Bowls, right? So that's the thing that you have. You can't fake that from the players. There's guys that do this for paychecks. There's guys that do it because that's what they know how to do. He hasn't lost the zeal that you need in order to excite the players. And you add that with him being a fan of the players and wearing their shirts and never throwing them under the bus, and they fight for him. So I think it has to do with his personality. I think that he comes across to the players as an authentic person, that has your best interest in mind, even if you're released or whatever it is. Like he's trying to help you. You know what else helps is that the city of Philadelphia, when you go out and you play your balls off, you go out and you give your all, this city will embrace you like no other
Yeah.
city. What other city you know that can have a famous NFL center that goes right to ESPN and on multiple shows and have like the #1 podcast? He's a freaking center.
Yeah.
And all of my years, I've never known Dawson or Damani Dawson or
No.
Jeff Saturday or anybody else to have the level of success that Jason Kelsey has had afterward. That just speaks to the fan of Philadelphia, right? So when you have a desirable location with the owner doing whatever he can to get wins, give you the best equipment, the best housing, Dom looking out for you in the offseason, making sure nobody steals your car like AJ Brown. You add all of this stuff up, you have a desirable location. And I believe our city with Coach Sirianni is batting 1,000 with the way they're handling business.
You know what the word you used is I couldn't have said it better. He's authentic, and the players can recognize a phony. He's not a
Yeah.
phony. He really is authentic. All right, one last question, Jason, because the money is like it's like out of control anymore. Do you think some players, and not all players, get too caught up in what their contract's going to be rather than just go out and play the game and everything will take care of itself?
That's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. Like I think it's tough. Like I think it's a easy thing to say from a fan's perspective. Right, man? Just go out and play. Everything else to take care of itself. Like it's tough because you want to win as a player. That's the #1 thing, so win as a player. But you also know that if I don't get 80 catches, I don't get a $5 million bonus. Or if I don't get 100 tackles, or if I don't get 10 sacks, right, and or I can't get this new contract. It's a balance that you got to have as a player that I don't think people really appreciate, because everyone in their mind thinks that the players are getting millions of dollars. There's only
They
a
are.
select few on the team that gets that $1 million in comparison to the whole of the team.
Right, okay.
If you get 10 players that are over $1 million on a contract, 10, 12, 15 players, that still leaves another 30, 35 players, right, that don't get that same contract. So the lion's share are on minimum type of deals, rookie deals or veteran minimum deals. So they're trying to get their best contract to support their family. So fighting against the temptation of wanting what's best for you is tough. It's not easy. And I don't think that it should be something that we should just sweep under the rug like, oh, you're winning. Winning helps a few people. Let me tell you, winning helps everyone, right?
Okay.
But
Yep.
it helps more than everyone, the quarterback, and it helps the head coach, and it helps the organization, because the organization's sales are going to go up even more the next year. The quarterback is going to be known as a winner, and the coach is going to be known as a winner. But that doesn't help AJ Brown just winning, because AJ Brown has done so well in his career. He wants to make the Hall of Fame. He wants to make the Pro Bowl, and he wants to be one of the highest paid players. So even if you win, you still need to have that balance. So it's kind of tough as a player. I was a team first player, but as I look back on it, I wish I'd have been more selfish.
You know what? It's only money. It's only money. I'll tell you, the guy I hope gets his money. Uh, and I say this for an ulterior motive. Micah Parsons is an egomaniac. He might be a really good player, but he's not a good player. The Eagles have controlled him pretty well in most of the games. But I hope he wants to get now over 40 million, because the other guys in that position have gotten it. But he kind of a little different with what he does. But that's not here nor there. I hope he gets $60 million, and the reason, it will further screw up the Dallas Cowboys salary cap, and that's why I hope he gets it.
They are just so, and like, I don't know how you can be in the same division as the Eagles. You know their playbook. It's working. It has been working. They've been a contender for the last 25, 30 years, right? So the Eagles have been contenders for most of our lives, the last 25 years for sure. Right? So this team has done the same thing over and over again. When you have young, talented players, you pay them as soon as you can, so you can free up the salary cap later.
Right.
The Cowboys just refuse to do that, and they have disgruntled players. And Jerry Jones is living in yesteryear, and so I love every aspect of that. But it's just they deserve it because it's just stupidity. You have a shining example in your organization, in your division, and you won't pay attention.
Well, we'll both agree, I think, on this. The Cowboys suck. All right.
Oh, yeah, well, exactly.
Well, wait a minute. Nick wore a T-shirt one time, and I think it said Dallas sucks.
Yeah, right.
So it's okay. Hey, Jason, it's really fun talking to you. It really is. It's just, I know we talk a lot, but it's fun talking to you, and hopefully we can do this again sometime because you're honest. That's what these things. That's what these shows are. I want them to be. I want guys to be honest and just say what they really think. And you did that, and I really do appreciate that. Thanks, brother.
Oh, no problem, Howard. You take it easy, buddy. Thank you, buddy.
All right, take care. Thanks, Jason.
All right.
Jason Avant. Jason Avant, he is really a good guy. Nice player, good player for the Eagles. See, I mean, all these people that remember all those people that wanted to bury Nick Sirianni. It's just crazy. All right. Let me. I will have a question very shortly on something that Jason Avant said, and you can win that bobblehead. Hey, listen, it's a collectible. You can't get those things anymore. The Howard Eskin bobblehead. Answer the question. Answer it by midnight. We have a question from the last show. Which was the player that I disagreed with Fox's all-time Phillies team, the one player that I thought that I disagreed with on that team the most. And then I'm going to have a question for you shortly. But right now, I want to tell you again about the presenting sponsor. He is a gem, and that is Stillwell Financial Advisors. And Jeff Stillwell is the guy. You want to invest in today's world, you certainly want to invest. You want to invest, you have wealth that you want to invest. You want to make sure that it gets harder and harder. You're set up for down the line and the future, and Jeff Stillwell can help you do that. Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff's a good guy, sharp guy, knows his stuff. You're going to be impressed. I know I was. Here's his number, 732-343-0813. Also, I do want to tell you about our other sponsors, and they would be Cut the Cord with Jason, Piazza Property Pros, Audi Westchester. Audi Westchester, lease a new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro for only $439 a month, or a new 2025 Audi A5 Sportback, $529 a month. All you need is $2,500 down plus taxes and registration fees to lease the new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro or Audi A5 Sportback, 36 months, 7,500 miles. I stopped over there the other day. I saw a whole shipment of vehicles coming in, a lot of cars. You're going to have fun looking at all of them. They have a great selection. You're going to see a lot of vehicles. Audi Westchester, their all new facility located at 1421 Wilmington Pike. You'll have fun. You'll have fun with the people, enjoy a cup of coffee, and, have some snacks. It's all good. The new 2025 Audi A3 Quattro, $439 a month, or the 2025 Audi A5 Sportback, $529 a month. Audi, check them out, AudiWestchester.com. And you want to take care of your property, your grounds. All right, you wanted a pool, but you waited too long to try to make the decision to build it. Piazza Property Pros can still do that. Might not be ready obviously it won't be ready for most of the season, but you'll have it for next season. But the other thing that Piazza Property Pros does well with 25 years of experience, they'll take care of your grounds, landscaping, whether it's fencing, hardscaping, excavation. I just had some landscaping done to my grounds, and a great job, an absolutely great job. Piazza Property Pros, exceptional results within your budget. Give them a call, 610-566-2608. Call for a free consultation. That's 610-566-2608, or check them out, piazzaoutdoor.com. EagleWRJasonAvant.com. And you want to save money on your cable? You can do that by cutting the cord with Jason. Jason offers an incredible service. He'll save you money on TV and internet. Here's what a lot of people said, a lot of good things. Here's what people have to say. I saw Cut the Cord with Jason on Howard Show, and after years of wanting to get rid of the cable, I finally did it. Jason came to my house, explained everything, set up the home screen to what we needed, and even hooked up my sound bar in the basement. Jason was awesome. And that was Mike L from the Northeast. People love to Cut the Cord with Jason. For more information to save yourself a lot of money, do yourself a favor and call Jason 215-801-5858, 215-801-5858. All right. So we're going to have the question for you very shortly. But before we get to that, as we do the show, the Eagles open training camp. Officially, I mean the voluntary camp and the OTAs, it's all nonsense. But this is real. Now they really start gearing down, getting ready for the season. There was a pretty constant theme from the players. But first, let's hear from Nick Sirianni. It could be any year, but when the coach speaks, people listen. Let's hear from Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, I think the guys have worked hard to put themselves in position to start camp. So all the guys came back in really good shape, weighing what they're supposed to weigh, doing really well on the conditioning test. And that's what camp's for too. You know, I know these guys worked hard to be ready for that, but we'll do a lot of things that, you know, in the weight room, on the practice field, that are going to emphasize that conditioning. I think it's very clear the way we want to play football, with great physicality, with great detail, with great effort. There's no substitute there. You have to be in great shape. So we'll continue to push these guys to be in great shape, and I think we're off to a good start based off the conditioning test yesterday.
All right, I'm going to say it. You don't have to let me say it. I'm going to say it. Every team says the same thing. Hey, listen, I think Nick Sirianni is an excellent head coach. But when you do these things, it's the same sound bites, and it's just, what's he going to say? If somebody wasn't in good physical shape, he wouldn't dime him out. So we know that. But nonetheless, I'm sure they all are in good physical shape. But you know, they have to be in shape, and they have to practice, and they have to, you know, to do everything to win. All right, let's see another comment along the same lines from Nick Sirianni.
Every year at the training camp feels the same. You're not looking back. You're not looking forward. You're solely focused on today and how we can get better today. And so when you have that mindset, when you have that focus that we want to have as a football team, that's how everyone should be feeling. Is, hey, how am I getting better today? Not thinking about anything else.
And obviously, that's the way it should be. Now, Harry Roseman was also, and he always also speaks at the beginning of camp, the way he's put together the Eagles, he manipulates the cap, and people complain about that. Manipulates, but he does it, you know, he's within the rules, whether he manipulates it or not. But you have to do the right things. You have to sign players, or let him talk about it. But he builds up to try to make sure he can, if he loses players, which he has lost, they've lost defensive players, but they feel they have players that can step in. Let's hear from Howie Roseman.
I think that you got to look at that again, just the same way we look at the resource allocation question. For us, it's the picks that we have. We have a lot of picks next year. We're expecting to have 13 picks in next year's draft, and those can be used to improve the team this year. They can be used to improve the team next year. They could be used to improve the team in the third year, you know. And so I think from our perspective, whatever opportunity comes about that could improve this football team, I mean, if there's an incremental difference on a player who's the 90th guy from a guy who's on the street, we're going to make that change. And we owe that to our fans. We owe that to our players. We owe that to Jeffrey to do whatever we can to keep improving the talent level on the team. And so the way that I look at it is that we have a lot of young players coming down the pipeline that we want to keep in Philadelphia, but we want to win. And we want to win right now. We want to win next year, and we want to win going forward. And that's my job, to try to balance it. And I'll do whatever I can to make sure that that happens.
You know what? Howie makes obviously some very interesting and astute comments. Now, I want to play something from Jordan Mailata and Jalen Hurts, but I'm going to change the script for my producer here. Howie kind of followed up on building of the Eagles, and I guess I not I guess I should play. Let's take Howie's second comment, and it was more on building of the Eagles. Joe, if you can do that for me.
I think from our perspective, when people understand that when they start here, that they have an opportunity to continue here and get rewarded here, it's incredibly important so that when you draft guys, you can show them examples. If you do the right thing on and off the field, we're going to make sure that we keep you here and maybe even have a chance to finish your career here. And I think that just from our perspective, and everyone's got to do things their own way. I'm not saying it's perfect. We make a lot of mistakes. But from our way, that's a core tenet of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to draft, develop, sign. And when you do that with players, your opportunity to set up continuity, your ability to really set up leaders for your football team going forward who can show young players the way and how we do things, I think that gives you a chance to be special.
And you really do have to make sure that you're not, if you're 55% on players you draft, that's high. But you've got to hit on at least the 50% plus. And the Eagles have had the ability to do that so they can let players go. No question they were going to let Josh Sweat go. Now, they'll probably get a third round compensatory pick. I don't know if it's been awarded yet, but they'll probably get that. And the other players, they had players that they've drafted to be able to fill in for that. Now, as far as the players, and obviously the coach spoke about this because they got the message from somebody, and I'm sure some of it was from themselves. Jordan Mailata is a very, very bright guy, understands how to just keep it real and not get crazy and just say things that mean something. This team, now listen to both Jordan Mailata and Jalen Hurts on how they approach this year. And it doesn't matter whether they won a Super Bowl last year. Let's listen to Jordan Mailata.
That is probably the hardest thing that we've had to ask of them was to stay, focused, tunnel vision, and I think they've done a great job of that. Especially the guys that are new to the team, they've just attacked every day, every session that we've had out here on the field. It's been phenomenal to see, but also the guys who were here last year to gain that competitiveness, seeing the new guys come in, it's that iron sharpens iron, and I think we've done a great job this offseason of just keeping the main thing. And the main thing was just moving on. That was the main thing this year, moving on, because whatever we did last year, that's in the rearview mirror, and that doesn't matter anymore. We're not defending nothing. We're not the defending champs. We're the 2024 world champs, that's it. We're not defending shit. Sorry, we're not. So I don't like hearing we're the defending champions. We're not defending nothing. We just won the title. And now we've got to go win it again, prove it all over again. And that's the mentality this team is going to have. We're not here to prove anything to anyone else but ourselves, and we know the mission. We're mission focused. So that's our approach, and I'm so proud of everyone here because they're buying into what we're selling.
What they're selling is to try to win again, but that doesn't take away from the fact you can't just eliminate that you were defending champs. Now they're trying not to think about it that way and get caught up in the Super Bowl hangover. That's part of it. They are the defending champs, but they can't worry about what they did last year because last year was last year, and I get that. And the cliche that I think Jalen started this cliche, the main thing is the main thing. So now they've got everybody saying it. But the reality is they are the defending champs, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some kind of Super Bowl hangover that you've got to guard against. Jalen Hurts speaking basically along the same lines at the first day of camp too. Let's hear from Jalen.
I think it's just purely about resetting, and being able to build that relationship and have those conversations. Those are always helpful. Something I look forward to and appreciate. Ultimately, It's a new journey. It's a blank canvas, and we are who we are. We have what we have. And regardless, whether you win a championship or lose a championship the next year, you have to be able to reset, have the right focus, and pursue it with, great intensity, great passion. And I think that's where we are. We have a new team, new individuals, and we have, a tight-knit core, that's been here throughout time. And so we just want to continue to build that chemistry that we have.
Yeah, you've got to focus on this year. I get all that, but that's kind of the message within the locker room, and I would imagine that Nick Sirianni has shared that with the players too. But that's the message within the locker room, and it's tough. They've got a tough schedule. Uh, Maybe Saturday we'll go over the schedule. Everybody likes to go over the schedule and wins and losses. It's difficult, and Detroit would have been better last year. I think the Eagles were better than Detroit, but they would have been better if they hadn't had injuries. And I don't know what would have happened. I still think the Eagles would have won. That's my opinion. You can't guarantee that, but Detroit had injuries, so they got to say injury free for the most part. Stay focused. I don't like the word focus. When you play, you should play and really play as hard and concentrate as much as you can. But the young guys, I brought that up with Jason Avant. The young guys got to be careful because that's something that they've never experienced before. So you got to be careful. All right, let me give you. By the way, let me just tell you, I saw a story on Barrett Media, which is a national media service, and there was a survey done by a company talking about podcasts from the late to like the late 20 teens, like around 17-ish, 2017. From that point to this point right now, the listenership on podcasts has increased. This number is staggering when I read it. 355%. That's why radio's dying. Radio, they can tell you that, hey, look, it's Eagles season, and I get all that. But people can listen to podcasts for the same thing. You don't have to listen to the radio and pay the prices that are charged, the overcharging, and I thank so much the people I have that are partners on this program and sponsors on this program. And I thank you very much. Stillwell Financial Advisors, Jeff Stillwell, the presenting sponsor, Piazza Property Pros, Audi Westchester, Cut the Cord with Jason. I thank you so much. But this is where you get value. And the more and more people, it's crazy when I read that number. I knew more and more people, and podcasts are killing radio in America, but killing television in America too. All right, let me give you the question. And for your chance to win this little devil, the Howard Eskin, where is it? The Howard Eskin bobblehead. I got the chain over here with the real diamond. The Howard Eskin bobblehead, collector's item. Question from answer from both last show and this show. The question tonight is Jason Avant talked about the top two receivers. He thinks the top, and you don't have to have any special order, the top two receivers in the NFL right now. Talked about the top two receivers. I want the names that Jason Avant said he thought were the top two receivers in the NFL. And to win that bobblehead, submit your entry to howardeskin.com by midnight on Friday, this Friday. Watch the show on Saturday, July 26th at 8 a.m. to see if you've won. I'll be on live on X, Facebook, Instagram. YouTube notifies you as soon as the show goes live. So I suggest subscribe to YouTube, The Howard Eskin Show. Doesn't cost anything, obviously, and the winner will be randomly chosen from all the correct entries. So thank you very much for being a part of the Howard Eskin Show. I saw a lot of nice comments here. And the Cowboys, I think most people in the comments that have commented about the Cowboys agree that they suck. They have the Cowboys will be no factor this year for the Eagles. So all you Cowboys fans, suck it up because they will be no factor when it comes to the NFC East. All right. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Jason Avant for being a part of the show. One other thing I want to mention, and I mentioned it a little bit with Jason. I'm so tired of hearing about money in the NFL. Just play. Just play. I don't want to hear about money anymore. Just play. But thanks for just play. These guys, when's enough? It's never enough, I guess. Thanks for being a part of the Howard Eskin Show, and have a great day and a great day tomorrow.